You remember when we used to sneak out when we were kids, and the whole time that we were out, all we could think about is our parents getting up? That's because we had a healthy fear of them. That's how having a relationship with God is. Once you have a healthy fear for the Lord, you're not gonna want to do certain things, and when you do it, you're gonna be too worried about God. You know, I was looking at my pages earlier. I was gonna delete all the funny content and all the just random stuff, but I decided not to. I decided to use it as a marker, a personal marker for me to see where I was at and where I am now. And I think it's like, you know, I definitely knew who God was and fully believed in Jesus prior to really coming to this realization, but I think it's just a matter of maturing in Christ and just maturing in my walk and my relationship. And I think a huge internal conflict that people that believe in the Bible are run into is salvation, and do your decisions and your actions determine whether or not you get to keep your salvation. And I was stuck in this phase for a while of being overwhelmed with my sin, and it just made me feel so less than. And I just kept hearing these voices in my head say, don't smoke, don't drink, don't cuss, don't commit fornication, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, dang. And I quickly realized that I'll never amount up to what God designed me to be. And that is the part I feel like people get stuck at. I think that's the cliffhanger where a lot of people end up turning away or just completely losing hope. And I think hope and faith are definitely, there's a parallel between hope and faith 100%. But that cliffhanger that people get stuck on of, I'm never gonna be good enough anyway. See, this is the thing about once you really get to understand the essence of God and his nature, you start to realize exactly how this worked and why there's two segments of time and why it's so important that Jesus died. So the main thing is that none of us will ever be able to uphold the law. None of us. The Bible actually says you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. That means that you were sinning before you even knew what sin was. It's not up to you. It's the flesh. The world that we live in is fallen. It's a bad thing, but it gives us hope, ironically. Because of this fact, because God knew that none of us were going to be able to accomplish this, he came down in a man's suit and crushed sin himself. It's quite simple when you zoom all the way out instead of trying to piece it together. The difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament is that there's now a mediation between God's wrath and our sin, and that's Jesus. And the thing is, when you get saved, the Bible is very clear about the fact that by grace you've been forgiven, not by stop sinning. It doesn't say by stop sinning you've been forgiven. It says by grace you've been forgiven, now sin no more. See, here's how that works. Here's how that connects and why it's different. Because you don't get saved because you do good works. However, when you get saved, you will take the relationship so seriously that the things that you do that you know offend God, and you will find out very quickly. God is very good at letting us know the things that we're doing that bother him. So once you find that out, it's gonna bother you. If the relationship is real and the relationship is being watered, it's going to break you. It's going to hurt you when you do things that hurt God. You're not going to feel the same way you did at one point about it. You won't. See, our righteousness means nothing to God. It means absolutely nothing. God actually references our righteousness in the Bible to a filthy rag. And I don't mean to get explicit, but I'm going to explain to you what that means. Back in the day, they didn't have Tampax or tampons or pads. They had rags that they would wipe the period blood with. And God also made it very clear that women are on a cleansing process during this time, and that their husbands should not have sex with them at this time. So God is comparing your little 5 minutes of righteousness throughout the day to some rag that was used to wipe the cleansing process from a woman back in the day. That's how much your works mean to God. It means nothing. What we do can't add to God's attributes, but when you appreciate something, it shows in your actions. Ironically, appreciation is an action word. You can tell someone you appreciate a gift and you treat it like garbage, and your actions show that you really didn't appreciate it. You don't understand what appreciation means. So to clear this up and just to summarize, the main thing that's important out of everything is to focus on your relationship with Jesus. Once you focus on your relationship with him, all the other things will be revealed to you. And the more you water your relationship, the more you focus on your relationship, the less you will have the desire and the urge to do the things that keep you away from him. That's how it works. And that cliffhanger that people get stuck at is a huge huge barrier for a lot of Christians because they feel like they will never be able to add up to what God has designed them to be. And they get stuck and they just say, well, whatever, I'm just gonna do what I wanna do. But that's not the reality. The reality is that's the enemy trying to convince you to not get closer to God, because he knows that once you get closer to God, you're not gonna wanna do those things. That's what a real relationship does. You remember when we used to sneak out when we were kids, and the whole time that we were out, all we could think about is our parents getting up? That's because we had a healthy fear of them. That's how having a relationship with God is. Once you have a healthy fear for the Lord, you're not gonna wanna do certain things. And when you do it, you're gonna be too worried about God.